Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a really good day. So, I've got a new one for you that it kind of ties into one of the fairy tales that I'm reading right now, but I'm not going to spoil it and tell you which one. But the tale for today is one that we all know. He's a beloved villain. It's Rumpelstiltskin. So, this should be fun. I mean, how dark are they going to make a story that's already about a bad guy, right? So, let's get into our Grimm tale. Once upon a time, there was a miller who was poor, but he had a beautiful daughter. Now it happened that he was talking with the king one time, and in order to make himself seem important, he said to the king, "I have a daughter who can spin straw into gold." "That is an art that pleases me," the king replied. "If your daughter is as talented as you say, then bring her to my castle tomorrow and I'll put her to the test." When the maiden was brought to him, he led her into a room that was filled with straw. There he gave her a spinning wheel and a spindle and said, "Now get to work. If you don't spin this straw into gold by morning, then you must die." Then he locked the door himself and she remained inside all alone. The miller's poor daughter sat there feeling close to her wits' end, for she knew nothing about spinning straw into gold, and her fear grew greater and greater. When she began to weep, the door suddenly opened and a little man entered. "Good evening, Mistress Miller. Why are you weeping so?" "Oh, I'm supposed to spin straw into gold, and I don't know how." The little man then asked, "What will you give me if I spin it for you?" "My necklace," the maiden said. The little man took the necklace and sat down at the wheel, and whiz, 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 three times round, the spool was full. Then he inserted another one, and whiz, 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 the second was full. And so it went until morning, until all the straw was spun, and all the spools were filled with gold. And we even get a little picture with this one. So, I do enjoy the illustrations. Poor little girl cried, and they weren't kidding about little, he's tiny. So, the king appeared right at sunrise, and when he saw the gold, he was surprised and pleased, but his heart grew even greedier. He locked the miller's daughter in another room that was even larger than the first and ordered her to spin all the straw into gold if she valued her life. The maiden did not know what to do and began to weep. Once again, the door opened and the little man appeared and asked, "What will you give me if I spin the straw into gold for you?" "The ring on my finger," answered the maiden. The little man took the ring, began to work away at the wheel again, and by morning he had spun all the straw into shining gold. The king was extremely pleased by the sight, but his lust for gold was still not satisfied. So he had the miller's daughter brought into an even larger room filled with straw and said to her, "You must spin all this into gold tonight. If you succeed, you shall become my wife." To himself he thought, "Even though she's just a miller's daughter, I'll never find a richer woman anywhere in the world." When the maiden was alone, the little man came again for the third time and asked, "What will you give me if I spin the straw into gold once more?" "I have nothing left to give," answered the maiden. "Then promise me your first child when you become queen." At least she wasn't crying. We've already established a pattern here. Who knows whether it will ever come to that, thought the miller's daughter. And since she knew of no other way out of her predicament, she promised the little man what he had demanded. In return, the little man spun the straw into gold once again. When the king came in the morning and found everything as he had wished, he married her, and the beautiful miller's daughter became a queen. After a year, she gave birth to a beautiful child. The little man had disappeared from her mind, but now he suddenly appeared in her room and said, "Now give me what you promised." The queen was horrified and offered the little man all the treasures of the kingdom if he would let her keep her child. But the little man replied, "No, something living is more important to me than all the treasures in the world." That almost sounds nice if it wasn't, kidnapping. Then the queen began to grieve and weep so much that the little man felt sorry for her. "I'll give you 3 days' time," he said. "If you can guess my name by the third day, you shall keep your child." The queen spent the entire night trying to recall all the names she had ever heard. She also sent a messenger out into the country to inquire high and low what other names there were. On the following day, when the little man appeared, she began with Casper, Mochwire? I have no idea. Bowser, and then repeated all the names she knew, one after the other. But to all of them, the little man said, "That's not my name." The second day, she had her servants ask around in the neighboring area what names people used, and she came up with the most unusual and strangest names when the little man appeared. "Is your name Ribs of Beer, or Mutton Chops, or Laced Leg?" Think they might have been pulling her leg and just hungry. But he always replied, "That's not my name." On the third day, the messenger returned and reported, "I couldn't find a single new name, but as I was climbing a high mountain at the edge of the forest, where the fox and the hare say goodnight to each other, I saw a small cottage, and in front of the cottage was a fire, and around the fire danced a ridiculous little man, who was hopping on one leg and screeching, 'Today I'll brew, tomorrow I'll bake, soon I'll have the queen's namesake. Oh, how hard it is to play my game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name.' You can imagine how happy the queen was when she heard the name, and as soon as the little man entered and asked, 'What's my name, your highness?' she responded first by guessing, 'Is your name Kunz? No. Is your name Heinz? No. Can your name be Rumpelstiltskin?' 'The devil told you! The devil told you!' the little man screamed, and he stamped so ferociously that his right foot, that his leg went deep into the ground up to his waist. Then he grabbed the other foot angrily with both hands and ripped himself in two." Well, that's quite the odd response to "now I don't have to change diapers." I always wondered what on earth he wanted with the baby all by himself. But it is kind of like the version that we see in, I don't know if y'all watch Once Upon a Time, the Disney soap bop, back in the day, but it kind of went along those lines until, wow. So, short and sweet-ish. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!